All right, today we are diving into something pretty huge. It's a theory that tries to connect everything, and I mean everything from the laws of physics all the way up to your own thoughts, using a single fundamental idea. So let's get into it. So let's start with a provocative question. For decades, we've loved this metaphor of the brain as a computer, right? Processing information. But what if that's completely wrong? What if your thoughts, your feelings, your entire sense of self? What if it's not about information at all, but just the most advanced way a physical system has figured out how to manage stress? To really get our heads around this, we need to start with the absolute core of what's called the BKM continuum theory. And it doesn't begin with software or genes or information. Nope. It starts with something much, much more basic, a simple physical dynamic. Think about it like this. You take a tree branch and you bend it. That force you're applying creates a potential imbalance. That's what the theory calls stress. And the actual physical bend in the branch, the deformation that absorbs and counters that force, that's the strain. This simple relationship, stress and strain, is the engine for this entire idea. Now here is the absolutely crucial claim. The theory argues this isn't just a handy metaphor. It's proposing that stress and strain is the literal physical mechanism that actually causes things like control, awareness, and even the choices we make. Okay, so if this one little rule is so fundamental, how on earth do you get from a bent branch to the incredible complexity we see all around us, from galaxies to human brains? Well, let's trace its journey through cosmic history. It all starts with basic physics, right? Imbalances in energy fields, stresses, create the fundamental forces. Then life emerges. Cells develop this amazing trick called homeostasis, which is really just a way to manage their own internal mechanical and chemical stresses. The next big leap? Nervous systems. These are like super fast networks for redistributing strain all across a body. And then, finally, we get to cognition. This is where brains become so complex they can actually simulate different ways to release strain before they act. And that simulation, that's what we experience as choice. Okay, this is the point where the theory goes from being just fascinating to, frankly, truly controversial, because it directly challenges some of the biggest, most established ideas in modern biology. We all learned this story in school, right? Evolution works because of random genetic mutations. The ones that happen to make an organism a little bit better at surviving, well, those are the ones that stick around. It's a gene-first view of the world. But the BKM continuum theory just flips that on its head. It says, hold on, the basic physical need to manage stress actually biases evolution. It pushes it in a certain direction, always toward creating better, more efficient control systems. So it's not just a random lottery, it's a process guided by the laws of physics. And this is a huge deal because it leads to predictions you can actually go out and test. If this theory is right, we should find that evolution isn't totally random. It actually has a direction. We should see totally unrelated species in similar places evolving very similar ways to handle stress. And it might just explain how complex life popped up way faster than our models of random chance think is possible. So if this idea rewrites evolution, what does it do inside our own heads? Well, it uses the exact same logic to challenge the leading theories in neuroscience too. Right now, one of the biggest ideas in neuroscience is that the brain is basically a prediction machine. It's constantly making models of the world, and its main job is to minimize surprise, or what scientists call prediction error, when reality doesn't quite match its model. It's a very information-heavy view. The BKM continuum looks at this and says, that prediction error isn't just abstract information. It's the feeling of a real, physical, mechanical strain in your body. And even more radically, it suggests that the physical state of your body, your muscles, your fluids, all of it, actually sets the boundaries for what your brain is even capable of thinking in the first place. This totally reframes how we think about something like psychology. We tend to think of emotions like anger or joy as separate boxes. But this theory sees them more like stable patterns, kind of like whirlpools in a constantly flowing river that form within the landscape of physical strain moving through your body. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. This all sounds incredibly abstract. A theory connecting gravity to feelings? I mean, how on earth could you even begin to test that? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. The experiment they propose is it's elegant. You have someone make the same difficult choice over and over, but you secretly time the questions to hit at very specific moments, once at the absolute peak of their inhalation and once at the very end of their exhalation. The information they're getting is identical. The only thing that's different is the physical state of their body. And here's the moment of truth. Standard brain as a computer theories would say there should be no difference at all. It's the same choice. But the BKM continuum theory makes a very bold, very unique prediction. Your decision, your confidence, even how much risk you're willing to take should change depending on whether you're inhaling or exhaling. That would be direct proof that your thinking is tied to your body's mechanics. So, we've gone from a single breath all the way to the fate of the entire universe. For this final section, the theory zooms all the way out to ask what this continuum of control means for, well, for everything. Just take a second to let that one sink in. It's such a powerful and almost poetic way to look at things. It suggests that evolution isn't some blind, random walk. It's the universe itself, literally developing a way to feel and regulate its own internal imbalances. And consciousness, that's its most advanced tool for the job. So this paints a picture of the cosmos as this grand cosmic tug-of-war, a constant dance between chaos and control, between the tendency for things to fall apart and the relentless drive of living systems to create these little pockets of stability. And we are right in the middle of that dance. Which leaves us with one final, truly mind-bending question to chew on. Is consciousness really something that we have? Or is it something the universe does through us?